Good day, viewers, and welcome to today's edition of the Sport Rep Show. I'm your host, Limba Mupetami. Now, without wasting any time, let's get into today's show with the hit list, of course, coming up first. Teachers in the Erongo inland constituencies will this weekend participate in a workshop said to be hosted by the Erongo Volleyball Association, where they will be taught basic volleyball skills and techniques. The training, which is aimed at empowering teachers in the Dores, Omaruru and Garibeb constituencies, will be funded by QKR Navajab Gold Mine. Now, 3 Namibian Muay Thai fighters Sonia Simon, Kale Duche and Mutua Mutuku will be in action this weekend in Johannesburg, South Africa at the Eclipse Fight League, with one fighting for a title. Muay Thai is an old martial art form similar to kickboxing and mixed martial arts, although it does not allow fighting on the ground. Now, closing that off, in today's Zoom In segment of the show, we have the Minister of Sports, Agnes Tjongarero, who touched on several topics in the sports fraternity, as well as her activities out of office. Now, of course, before we head into that interview, we go for a short break, and right after we head into the interview with Agnes Tjongarero. So please stay tuned. Well, of course, like I've mentioned, we have Agnes Tjongarero, the Minister of Sports, joining us today with a sit-in interview. That is where she spoke in detail about some of the issues that are going on in the sports fraternity. And of course, I don't want to waste any more time. Rather, I want you to watch this interview, listen to this interview yourself. All right, so welcome, viewers. We are joined by the Minister of Sports, Agnes Tjongarero, just to speak to us about, what she's been busy with currently, and for you to find out who the minister is when she's not in the office. Now, to start off, welcome to the show, Minister.
Thank you very much.
Well, you were the Deputy Minister of Sport from, if I remember correctly, 2015 until 2020. And before that, you held several portfolios in sports as well. Now, why and what would you say made you get involved in sports?
Actually, if you say get involved, it sounds a little bit different. But from my schooling days, I just loved sport. And I must say, I'm one of those very first black people who played tennis. Tennis was not in our communities. We owned the 2 sport codes mostly, or 3. It was netball for women, football for the boys, and athletics, mix, that was that. Not swimming and all these tennis things, but from the very beginning, I was one of those who played tennis, actually. So sport was something I just loved to do. I was not good in athletics, I tried, and I was not so good, so I dropped that one.
Okay, so since taking office as the Minister of Sports, how has that been so far for you?
There's one thing which was not so good, and that is unfortunately 2020, 2021, as all of us know, the uninvited enemy came and stopped everything. So during that period, actually my plan was during that period that all we could do is to do the planning, because we were under lockdown, so we could not do physical things outside, like even for the athletes to train and so on. But I was actually hoping that we could do most of the planning. But let me say something about us in the ministry, what I have realized during the deputy and now, many a times in the ministry itself, it's not everybody who's got sport as a passion. Some people applied for a job, not that a person has got a love for sport or something. It's job. Person got the position, is in a position, but sport is not that person's love. So even if you plan and give this plan to people and say, not everybody, but some of them, and say, this is what we are going to do, it's not an agency or why is this minister now pressing on us about this thing? And that sometimes hamper the progress we could have made.
You know, a lot of times when men find women in the sports fraternity, their assumption is always that we don't know anything about sports. Now, you being the first female sports minister of Namibia, would you say that your experience has been different? How do the male counterparts maybe react to you?
You know, sometimes us also as women, or girls and women, we assume some of these things. It is like that. That a male counterpart will think, she doesn't know anything or she doesn't know anything about sport. So, I'll ask him, we'll talk. And there are certain things I will say about cricket that he doesn't know. Then he realized, here, it is what you know and what you can do, which will convince the male counterpart and see, no, we are on an equal path here. But if you don't know, you only know netball, or you only know something about a little bit of football, you cannot even convince him when he's the offside or not. Then you will say, this woman doesn't know. But when you can, and we have to do all we can to know our level, where are we, and we can be equal with them. That I don't know. Maybe the reason I said, like, some of us came for a job and not for a passion, and that one is the amendment of the Sport Act. It's old, it's outdated, but I've been trying and trying. Now recently I was told it's with the Office of the Justice. I hope it is there. Now, many times I cannot go and dig. Then I'm being told that I'm interfering in the work of the administrators. And that is the biggest frustration I'm having at the moment. There's no proper sport policy. There's no proper sport act. We don't have sport rules and regulations. We don't have. We are working on those outdated things. And this is now the time we have to go back to the embassy of Japan and say, but you must have something. Yes. You cannot go and say, yeah, we have the understanding, now we want you to help us. No, with what? How? Even in that agreement, there's construction even. And now other people want their stadiums to be built also. Yes. Yeah. So those are the things. But the minister cannot always go into those type of things and say, bring way.
Do you think that you as an individual, as a Minister of Sports, having come from the deputy level, have you done enough to groom the next person to take over you, the next woman to take over you? That is very important for me, women empowerment. Do you think that you have done enough?
Yes. There I can dance and say I have done. You know, wherever I am. Let's say I was in charge of, at one point I was in charge of netball. I groomed people. And I used to say, one day I will not be here forever, I will be going. Who's going to take over? Who are the people? Come in. Well, that's okay. I was at the Olympic Committee and I kept on saying, wherever I am, I always try to tell people, just learn from what I'm doing. Bring in your knowledge and move on. Don't rely on me. I might die tomorrow. But the thing is, sport will always be here till the end of the world. So I have done my part.
Yeah. The athletes themselves, what do you think are just some of the challenges that maybe with your experience, or rather the behavior of athletes you think that they should change?
And many a times, and I am sorry to say that, when people say there's going to be an election of the, let's say, swimming board or so, we run because we want to be on the board without any clue about swimming, but I want to be there. Now you are elected on the board, and you are the biggest obstacle for the athletes because you don't have a clue about that thing. And that is what we are doing. It's very difficult. You cannot tell, I cannot tell you, no. What do you know about journalism? I know. And in the meantime, I don't, and that is what happens. Our downfall are not the athletes. Because athletes, you take them, are supposed to be taken from the younger age and be groomed up till whatever age it's going to be. But if we, as the leadership in that federation, doesn't even feel the agency to enter the name of an athlete. Do you know that recently in Commonwealth, where we were now recently, something happened. We don't tell always you guys. There was a wrong entry in swimming somehow. Yes. I won't say everything. Yes. You can go and ask swimming, they will maybe tell you. And some of the parents were unhappy. Where did it start? It's not the Olympic Committee. That committee is just to get everything and forward it further. The federation, they make the mistakes. Those type of things. How can I, if I am a leader in that federation, make a mistake like that? Is it possible? But it happened because passion, that passion is not there.
Yes. When you leave office one day, what are just some of the things that you'd like to be remembered for by the athletes, the colleagues that you work with? What do you want to leave behind?
Many things. Athletes will say thank you for me because I've been hammering their leadership day and night. And even the commission and the Olympic Committee will say thank you for your consistent pressure on us, because that is what I'm doing. Even our colleagues here, not I want to be liked, but I'm not liked because of that. Because I want things to be done. I want people to know. I want people to move. No, we cannot always crawl. When are we going to walk and run? And that's my problem.
Yeah.
We are now in Namibia. We are always crawling. We are not at the stage where we can walk and pass walking, and even the children who were born yesterday, they will pass us because we are only crawling and crawling, and that's a problem I'm having. But I'm happy to say, I'm trying by all means. If somebody doesn't learn from me, that person is not supposed to be in a sporting field.
When you're not in the office, this is my last question. What do you do? What are just some of your interests, perhaps? Involved in some sort of farming, gardening?
I wish you can give me the farm. Then I'll do the farming. No, when I'm not in the office, my happiest time when I'm happy is to be with my grandchildren and with my children themselves, my family. And the next group where I'm happy with is our church group. Sing and dance and are happy and so on. I'm happy with whoever I am. I'm actually none of those people who are, wherever I come, I don't want to antagonize other people. I want people to work. We must be in harmony with each other. And my colleagues with whom I have been working, I was actually at one stage a director in the Ministry of Health. You don't know.
No, I did my research. You were a nurse.
Yes. So I was a tutor at the end also, and some of the nurses, those ones will tell you about my tutoring and so on. And those colleagues now, when we come together and so on with my friends, on a Saturday go and have cup of coffee somewhere and just talking about nice things. Those are the things I'm enjoying. But mostly, I enjoy to go and watch sport. If I say sport, I don't mean football. Because many of us, when we talk about sport, we either talk football or netball. To me, sport I can go to the hockey field and sit and I understand what it is. I can go to cricket and sit and I understand what it is. I can go to swimming and sit and I understand what it is. I can go to rugby and tell them that referee, why didn't he see the offside? Then there was, and I can, you see, because of my love and passion for sport.
That was the Minister of Sports, Agnes Tjongarero, speaking all things sports. Now, before we move on to the Spotify segment, the brave Gladiators of Namibia are getting ready for the Cosafa Women's Championship, which will be held in South Africa. We caught up with the head coach, that of course is Paulus Shipanga, as well as one of the players, Emma Naris, and this is what they had to say.
All right, no, the tactical part of the game is getting there. It's not 100%, but we're still trying to get the combination play. Unfortunately, we don't have all the players, so it's a bit tough. But the ones that are there, they are adapted to the formation that we want to play. We've come a long way for 2 to 3 weeks. It's still not done. This is probably one of the crucial weeks because this week we'll have friendlies. We had one today, we'll have one on Thursday, and we'll try and have one on Saturday. Just to keep the momentum, because in South Africa we'll play one day and then we'll rest probably 2 days and then play another day and then rest 1 day. So I need them to have that understanding of recovery and what to do when you have to recover and all that. Yeah, other than that, my players' fitness is getting also there. It's not 100% either. There's no football in Namibia, so that's the other problem. And some of these players, we have to take them from scratch. But my fitness coach, Coach Njenga, is pushing them. My assistant coach, Coach Tuba, is also assisting me very well. So yeah, we are prepared. We take it as it comes. You know how football is. Anything can happen. We'll be playing Zambia, which is probably the group favorites. We have nothing to lose. They have beaten us the last Cosafa 3-0. I'm sure their spirit is very high, but we'll come in as a surprise package, and we'll try and take one game at a time. So Zambia will be our first one. It will be good because people will be fresh. It's the fresh start. It's a new team. It's a new coach, me, and yeah, a whole lot of new players that also wants to showcase their talents. So yeah, I'm happy so far. We don't have a lot of injuries. We have a little bit of a bug, stomach bugs and some tonsils, but nothing major. So we don't want to. Some of those players didn't play today. We let them rest, and then yeah, 90% of them will be ready by the time we go.
My name is Emma Naris. I'm a central defender. We had a friendly match today and it went well. We are trying to get our shape right and positioning right, so the girls did everything the coach has said. Our preparation for Zambia is going well. We lost against them last year 3-0, so this year we are hoping we can draw or beat them and go through to the next round.
Now, well, good luck to the brave Gladiators as they prepare for the Cosafa Women's Championship. Now, up next is the Spotify segment, and that is with none other than Brian Munango. But quickly, let's go for another short ad break.
You know, a few weeks ago, I would never do this on a Saturday morning. Back then, I was standing in line all day. Now it's just like that.
You are using the FNB banking app like I told you.
Girl, it saved my weekend. Now I can do all my banking on this.
Payments, transfers, checking statements.
Even opening accounts. Just like that. Oh, did I tell you what my husband did?
Even me, I want to save time with what's the name of the app?
FNB app.
Don't be left behind. Make the switch to the FNB app, online banking or cell phone banking, and change the way you bank to change your life. FNB, how can we help you?
Thank you very much, Limba. And without further ado, let's look at what the youth are busy with in sports this weekend. The Standard Bank Namibia Secondary School Rugby Super League continues this weekend with some mouth-watering fixtures as we are set for the Battle of the Giants. There are 3 games that are set to take place on Saturday, with the highlight match being VAP hosting Windhoek Gymnasium, who are the Lions, at Afis Park. You can say that the Battle of Giants, it's going to be a big one because VAP are the defending champions and VIS and Windhoek Gymnasium are topping the table as we speak. We also have PSG, Valvas by Preferred School, who are hosting Pro Ed in what looks to be a beautiful game, but they have lost all their games so far, having played 3, and they take on Dr. Lemmer, who we hope will put up a challenge against them. In our last game from the Super League on Saturday, we have Windhoek High School, who sits 2nd in the Premier League. After beating Moria on their home ground, they now travel to Swakopmund to take on PSG Pro Ed Academy. Beautiful rugby there indeed that we have going on this weekend. And to touch on other things that we have going on, we have school netball league that's also taking place, where we will have a lot of games taking place at Windhoek Gymnasium. So if you guys do have time, do make a turn there. If not, stay tuned to DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 94. We got you guys covered on all fronts. And that's it from Sports Wrap today. Spotify segment, that is. Catch us again next week Monday as we bring an update on everything that will be happening throughout the weekend. We move over to international news with Ari Ohad. Stay tuned.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with soccer news. It is the Women's Under-20 World Cup taking place at the moment in Puerto Rico, and results from the tournament is Nigeria that beat Canada by 3-1, and by that they go through to the quarterfinals, and that game will be played on Monday when they play against the Netherlands. Another game that was played yesterday was France that beat South Korea. That was by 1-0, and by that France also go through to the quarterfinals. They will play against Japan, and that game is also on Monday. It was the Netherlands that beat Ghana by 4-1. So Ghana fall out. They will not be able, or they will not play in the quarterfinals. The other 2 quarterfinals on Sunday in this tournament will be Spain that will play against Mexico, and then it is Colombia that play against Brazil. Moving on to tennis news, it is the Western and Southern Open tennis tournament that's being played in Cincinnati. Best the men's and women's players in the world in action in a tournament on the WTA and the ATP Tour. Let's go to the women's draw first. Iga Swiatek, the number 1 seed, safely through to the next round. She beat American Sloane Stephens by 6-4 and 7-5. Madeline Keys of the United States, also good win for her against a difficult opponent, Jelena Ostapenko. She beat her by 6-4 and 7-5. And then other seeded players that's through to the round of 16 is Emma Raducanu, the 10th seed, also defending US champion, and Jessica Pegula, the number 7 seed of the USA, also through to the quarterfinals. In the men's draw, a big result for Taylor Fritz of the USA. He beat Nick Kyrgios of Australia, one of the informed players at the moment. He beat him convincingly by 6-3 and 6-2. And also Stefanos Tsitsipas through. He beat Filip Krajinovic by 6-3 and 6-4. And then the veteran Rafael Nadal also through to the next round. He got the better of Borna Coric. It was in 3 sets, not too convincing for Nadal. He beat him 7-6, 4-6 and 6-3. And continuing international sports news with golf news, it is the FedEx playoffs that continue. The first round will be played on Thursday of the BMW Championships. It's 70 players teeing off on the PGA Tour. The top 30 on the FedEx list points system will go through to the next weekend's final tournament in Atlanta. Some of the players that's been drawn together for this tournament is the 2 leaders of the points at the moment. That is world number 1 Scotty Scheffler. He will play with Will Zalatoris that won last week. Also Rory McIlroy will play again with Sepp Straka, and then John Rahm is drawn to play with Hideki Matsuyama. Also golf news is that the 2018 Masters champion American Patrick Reed, he announced that he will sue Golf Channel and the commentator Brandel Chambly for defamation, and quite a big lawsuit that he is approaching here. He's suing them for $750 million US. He said that there's been calculated false and malicious attacks on his character over a number of years by Golf Channel and also the commentator Brandel Chamley. Reid is quite a controversial player on the tour, and he's been lots of allegations since his college days also of cheating in his career. So that will go before the courts. $750 million US. That is a lawsuit against Golf Channel by Patrick Reid. To close off today's international sports news, some soccer news. Manchester United's been quite in the news because of their difficult start in the English Premier League this year. 2 losses in the first 2 games. Eric Ten Hag, the new coach, also under pressure. But the biggest pressure was on their owners. That is the Glacier family. That is the USA. It is 6 of the Glacier sons that is managing Manchester United from there. They also have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as one of the teams they own. But there's speculation that the Glacier family might be interested to sell Manchester United. One person that stepped forward in Britain is the British billionaire. His name is Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He earlier in this year, in March, tried to buy Chelsea for £4.25 million, but that was not successful. There was also indication on Twitter that Elon Musk might also be interested to buy Manchester United, but nobody knew if that was tongue in the cheek or if he's serious to buy Manchester United. That is the international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Brian and Ari. Now, of course, as Brian has mentioned, there's going to be a lot of sporting action this weekend. So for results, you can also just follow us on SportRep, that is on Facebook, where we will be giving you results as to all of the action that will be taking place. Now, we've come to the end of today's show. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same place. So please do catch us then.